I think that you should retire.
Fiery personalities have always stirred things up, both on and off the court, and Andy Roddick is a perfect example of this. Known for his intense on-court outbursts,
I give you a warning. I'm giving you a warning.
Roddick wasn't afraid to show his emotions, whether it was frustration with a bad call or excitement during a big match. He also made headlines with his bold comments about Wimbledon's grass courts, openly criticizing their conditions and sparking conversations about tradition in the sport. Roddick's disagreements with tennis legend Billie Jean King highlighted his willingness to challenge the status quo, and he stood up for young players like Jannik Sinner, showing his support for the next generation of talent. But before diving into his tales, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Andy Roddick was famous for his fiery personality, and he didn't hold back when it came to expressing his frustrations on the court. Whether it was about a questionable line call or an umpire's decision, Roddick was known to be quite demonstrative in his reactions. This passionate side of him sometimes got him into trouble, leading to code violations and criticism from the media. One particularly memorable moment happened during the 2001 U.S. Open. Roddick was clearly upset with a call that didn't go his way, and in a fit of frustration, he shouted at the umpire, "Do you have the IQ of a doorknob?" The comment caught everyone's attention and perfectly showcased Roddick's fiery nature. His reactions often sparked conversations about the pressure players face and the thin line between passion and frustration. Roddick's on-court antics were a big part of his character, making him one of the most talked-about players of his time. Fans either loved him for his honesty or criticized him for his outbursts. But one thing was clear: he always brought intensity to the game. Roddick's comments about Wimbledon's grass courts stirred up quite a bit of controversy, highlighting just how careful players need to be with their words. When he spoke out about the surface, it wasn't just a casual remark. It got people talking and created a real buzz in the tennis community. In 2009, after a tough loss at Wimbledon, Roddick didn't hold back his feelings about the grass courts. He made some pointed comments saying that the courts were too slippery for the players to compete safely. This wasn't just a casual remark. It sparked a real debate about the condition of the tournament's iconic grass surface. Roddick's words got people talking. Was the grass at Wimbledon different now than it had been in the past? Fans and analysts alike started to discuss how the surface has evolved over the years and how it might affect players' performances. Some agreed with Roddick, saying that the grass was indeed tricky to play on, while others felt that it was just part of the challenge of competing at such a prestigious event. This incident highlighted how passionate players are about their sport and how their experiences can shine a light on larger issues within the game. Roddick's comments opened the door to important discussions about player safety and the ongoing changes in tennis. It's a great example of how one player's voice can start a conversation that resonates throughout the sport. As if that wasn't enough, Roddick's disagreement with Billie Jean King took things to an even more intense level. Billie Jean King is a legend in the world of tennis, known for her incredible achievements and her advocacy for gender equality in sports. So when Roddick publicly disagreed with her, it certainly caught a lot of people's attention. Roddick didn't shy away from voicing his opinion when he publicly disagreed with Billie Jean King's suggestion that men's tennis matches at Grand Slams should be shortened from the traditional best-of-5 sets to best-of-3 sets. King, a pioneer in the sport and a champion for equality, believed this change could make matches more exciting and accessible for fans. However, Roddick had a different perspective. He passionately argued that the longer format of best-of-5 sets was crucial for the integrity of the sport. Roddick felt that these extended matches not only showcased the endurance and skill of the players, but also played a vital role in attracting television audiences. He believed that the drama and tension built over 5 sets created unforgettable moments in tennis history, and changing the format could risk losing that essence. This disagreement sparked a lively discussion in the tennis community about the best format for men's matches. Fans and analysts jumped into the conversation, debating the pros and cons of both formats. Roddick's stance highlighted the ongoing conversation about how to keep tennis exciting while preserving its traditions. It was a moment that showed how passionate players are about their sport and how their voices can shape the future of tennis. Roddick's defense of young star Jannik Sinner, too, really stirred things up, and it showcased his strong sense of camaraderie within the sport. Sinner, a rising talent in tennis, had been facing some criticism from fans and commentators about his game and performance. Roddick, being a seasoned player himself, felt it was important to stand up for the younger generation. Roddick didn't just brush aside the criticism, he stepped into the conversation and passionately defended Sinner's potential and talent. He pointed out that every player goes through ups and downs, especially when they are starting to make a name for themselves. Roddick's journey in tennis is quite inspiring. At just 17 years old, he faced a tough decision about his future when he hit a rough patch in his junior career. Thankfully, his coach, Tarek Benabiles, encouraged him to stick with it for 4 more months. That decision paid off. Roddick became the number 6 junior in the U.S. in 1999 and the number 1 junior in the world in 2000, winning 6 World Junior Singles titles, 7 doubles titles, and both the U.S. Open and Australian Open Junior Singles titles that year. From 2000 to 2002, Roddick had a breakthrough. In March 2001, he scored his first ATP victory against number 41 Fernando Vicente. He also made headlines by beating legends like Pete Sampras and Gustavo Kuerten. In 2003, Roddick achieved his biggest success yet by winning the U.S. Open and reaching the number 1 ranking, becoming the youngest American to do so since the rankings began. In 2004, Roddick reached his first Wimbledon final, although he lost to Roger Federer. The following year, he made it to the Wimbledon final again, but faced Federer once more. Despite ups and downs in 2005, including a second Wimbledon final loss, he continued to show resilience. In 2006, Roddick made it to the U.S. Open final, where he lost to Federer again. He bounced back in 2007, where he helped the U.S. team win the Davis Cup for the first time since 1995, marking a triumphant moment in his career. Roddick began 2008 by winning the AOME Kooyong Classic for the 3rd consecutive year. He reached the Australian Open's 4th round, but lost to Philip Kohlschreiber despite serving 42 aces. Roddick then won his 24th title at the SAP Open and claimed his 25th at the Dubai Tennis Championships, defeating top players like Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic. In 2009, Roddick hired Larry Stefanki and reached the Qatar ExxonMobil Open final, losing to Andy Murray. He advanced to the quarterfinals of the Australian Open, but faced mixed results throughout the season, including a notable boycott of the Dubai tournament over visa issues for Shahar Peer. Despite his struggles, he reached the final of the Legg Mason Tennis Classic, but lost to Juan Martín del Potro. In 2010, Roddick captured his first title in nearly a year at the Brisbane International and won the Sony Ericsson Open. However, he faced injuries and disappointing exits at Wimbledon and the U.S. Open, dropping out of the top 10 for the first time in a decade. In 2011, he started with a loss in the Brisbane final and was eliminated in the 4th round of the Australian Open. Although he won the region's Morgan Keegan Championships, injuries continued to plague him, leading to early exits and a Davis Cup loss to Spain. Roddick ended the year ranked outside the top 10. In 2012, Roddick retired during the Australian Open due to a hamstring injury, won the Egan International, and was defeated in the 3rd round at Wimbledon. He announced his retirement during the U.S. Open, concluding his career after a final match loss to Juan Martín del Potro and finishing ranked number 39. Well, that brings us to the end of the video. Make sure to subscribe to Tennis Court Icons so you never miss an update.